Greetings. Today we have another topic. It's communication. It's that simple. That's what it'll be called. And the idea is a lot of people do not know how to communicate, right? What does that mean? What do you mean by not being able to communicate, right? A lot of people talk, certainly, they have conversations, they have very insightful conversations, but what I'm talking about when I say communication, it's a very different animal. I've talked with people for years now. There weren't many people I really communicated with. What, like, I can count them on this hand, right? And the people you can communicate with, it's not just people you talk to and exchange ideas with and compare things to, but rather people who you're able to simply lay back, say what you think or say what you feel, um, unfiltered, and having that be okay. Not only that, having the other person receive it and be able to relate, analyze, and exchange it. What does that mean? Um, have you ever had like a lot of people are like, oh, this person is such a good listener, right? Because the other person looks at you and does this a lot and maybe asks you a question. And that I don't agree with that. That's not listening. Um, a lot of people do it well. I mean, as far as I hear, it turns the chicks wild, right? But you sit and you listen, just like yeah, they start blah 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 blah, and you're like, guys do. They're still like, oh, this guy's such a great listener, such a great friend, and I'm like, but he didn't listen to you though. Why? Because if you listened, he would have gave you a reaction, a proper reaction, or rather a proper response to something you said. Mainly, if it's a problem, you give a solution. You don't just like, hmm, you know. But people do, and people love the listeners, right? But okay, listeners are great if they understand what you're saying, which is why I always like the type of listener that actually asks questions. Regardless, proper communication is scarce in this current day and age. A lot of people like turn to chat and just write stuff down there. It's a safe zone. Other people do voice chat for the same reason. A lot of people do YouTube for the same reason, right? They sit down, they're all over the place when it comes to their emotional state and whatnot. And they make YouTube. Hey guys, today on this video I will get a da da da, and you're like, they're all happy and jolly until 6 months later they release a video. Guys, I need a break from YouTube. This is too much. I overwhelmed myself. I am depressed, and now I have to quit. And then I'm gonna reinvent myself. Like, fuck you, Like you couldn't catch it early. Why? Not proper communication. That's why I don't bullshit. That's why, like, when people talk to me years ago and they talk to me now, all they see is a different level of information attainment and collection, not really a different person or a person who recreated himself, right? No, because I communicate the same way. I try to be clear. I fail, but I try to be clear, and I try to say what I think most of the time. And if what I think is offensive, I try to say it in such a way that it's not offensive, and I just keep going, right? And when I see people, they really feel like when they can talk to me. A lot of people feel like they can talk to me because of what I do. Because not only am I listening properly, I'm also giving them things out of me properly. Um, Concepts and things people think that are so hard to express. How could you say this about yourself and be okay with it? Takes so much bravery, and it does. But to me, it's only common sense, right? For me to say these things or give you these pieces of information, so you give them, so it becomes easier for you to give back and communicate properly and tell me about what's in here, right? What's bugging you here and you can't really say it in any place besides the one we've constructed for you, or the same case for this thing, right? What's going on in your mind, a concept that's bugging you, or what's going on in your heart, an idea that's been hurting you or playing with your emotions. Both are valid reasons and both need proper communication, and people don't give it that. Instead, they give it small talk. They give it sitting down and being insecure, and I have no other way of saying it, right? Sitting down and like playing the social game, right? When you can easily sit down and say, you know, this concept has been bugging me for a while, and I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna tell you guys, and maybe you guys can help out. And having the other people, because it's a two-way street, having the other people be like, oh, okay, let's hear it. What's on your mind? Tell us what the problem is, and we'll try to work it out together, right? Communication. We are a social, we're social beings, right? But we don't. There isn't no proper communication generally, like in public, standing, and that's something I want to campaign against. I want more communication in the world. I want people to have this small circle of friends they can communicate with, and if the bigger the circle of friends, the even better, you know. And like, if I'm gonna say like, what are the three elements that makes a good like to find people with good communication? One, the person must not be biased. But what I mean is, whenever they give you advice, they give you the objective advice, the proper analysis, then what they think is correct, and that is it. They don't tell you, for example, you're better than this, overcome your whatever. No, no, analysis, right? If you want this, these are the results you want, right? Uh, for example, let's say you don't like Jimmy, right? And somebody's complaining about Jimmy. You still talk about Jimmy objectively. You don't say, oh, I don't like, fuck Jimmy. You know what, fuck Jimmy, you should hang out with him. No, fine, be unbiased. Be very, as I like to call it, cold in your calculation, especially when you're giving advice, because you want to give the right advice, and that's actually number two. Be honest and will good for people. What does that mean? For example, if you think John or Jimmy is a bad influence, tell them I think Jimmy is a bad influence, and give them the data, and don't say it in such a way like it's either this or fuck you. It's like, I think from what I'm seeing, it's this. I'm trying to be honest and clear with you, um, and mean well, right? Like, if you mean well while you're being honest and you're being unbiased, there's really no bad advice you can give, and any bad advice you can give can be controlled easily, because in the end, you know where it came from. It came from a place of love, a place of honesty. I argue even in business, right? If you're gonna do a business, how about you do it in such a way that both people are not getting screwed in the end, right? I always like that site that on Black Friday they shut down. I remember the place, but like on Black Friday they shut down their sites. They're like, we don't support these Black Friday sales, and so for this day, or we don't support people spending money on things they don't need. So we're gonna shut down our website, and we're gonna activate it when Black Friday ends, and you want something from us because you need it, right? Like, wow, this is a level of honesty and clarity and good PR that is great, and I think is missed these days. So these are number one, unbiased. Number two, clear and mean well. And then number three, there's no other way of saying it, but be good. And what I mean is not, okay, we meant mean well is done, but be good as in, um, if you're gonna give advice or you're gonna communicate with people, or you're gonna be you're gonna be something. You can't just be there communicator. You need to be good at something, right? You need a skill, a craft, a concept you're very good at, right? Um, Something that people could come to you to get benefit, something you can offer people. So okay, maybe we should do that. So have something to offer people. That should be number three. So um, you can't just be a person who's, again, that's my problem with the listeners of these day and age, is that they sit and they're like, they listen but they don't give anything back. And what's the point if you listened if I don't get anything out of you? I feel good, right? No, sometimes it's like, okay, venting is fine, but no, not always. And so that's how it goes. Like, have something to offer. People come to me because I have very, very good assessment of situations. When people provide me with data, I'm able to conceptualize it well, ask the right questions to further refine my understanding of the problem, and then provide like an easy four-step solution on how to do it or something, right? Either that or at least a very good direction on how to solve it. I'm very talented in that. So when people come to me and talk, they come because I have that um, thing. But like I'm very good at it, right? So compared to yeah, there's other like if you have those three, it's very good. Like you're done. You can communicate, and all you need is another person who has or is trying to have these three, and you're good. Like again, I repeat, um, having those three particular skills, being unbiased, being honest and meaning well, and having something to offer are all the things you need for proper, good communication. Um, and yeah, I hope somebody hears this video and at some point realizes that they've been lacking in communication, good communication, and start working on themselves because if you communicate properly, your anxieties, your insecurities, your problems show, right? And they show very clearly, and that's the best time to address them. That's the best time to deal with them. That's the best time to heal them if they need healing. The best time to enhance them if they're shy. If they're like, you're scared about your singing, well, communicate that, and people may help you with your singing, something like that. A random example, whoever watches this who happens to sing, and I know who I'm talking to, I'm not referring to you, it's just an example. So, yeah, be good people, communicate with each other, and we'll see you on the next one.